We always put our love for God above everything, even allegiance to our country.
Well, that explains the tolerance for this.
Two women have now come forward to say that Herschel Walker, the staunchly anti-abortion Senate candidate, pressured them into having abortions. Jane Doe says despite being on birth control, she got pregnant in 1993. Walker, she says, pressured her to get the abortion.
He was very clear that he did not want me to have the child. And he said that because of his wife's family and powerful people around him, that I would not be safe and that the child would not be safe.
That's very menacing.
It is very menacing.
Another day, another Herschel Walker accuser is speaking out, saying he demanded an abortion. And the reaction from evangelical Republicans who support Walker's Senate candidacy? Crickets. Hello, everybody. I'm David Shuster, and thanks for joining us. Instead of questioning Herschel Walker or condemning his clear hypocrisy, many Christian leaders are focused on something else.
America was founded as a Christian nation. Americans who believe not only in the spiritual heritage of our nation, but believe that we ought to use elections to help return our country to its Christian foundation. If that's Christian nationalism, count me in.
Well, at least he said elections. To be clear, the founding fathers wanted a separation between church and state, but reality-based history, whether it's about the founding of America or about Republican candidates, is inconvenient for many Christian nationalists. And this pastor, who runs one of the biggest Baptist churches in America, believes Democratic election victories and consequences have gone too far.
The left don't mind at all imposing their values on our country through the election process. They don't mind forcing their pro-abortion, pro-transgender, pro-open borders policy upon our nation, but they object when conservative Christians try to impose their values on society at large.
That's right. When conservative Christians try to impose their values, a lot of Americans are against that, and for good reason. Listen carefully to this pastor's priorities.
We always put our love for God above everything, even allegiance to our country.
We put our love for God above everything, even allegiance to our country. And there you have it. Because while an evangelical leader may say he wants to work through the election system, the reality is that many Christian religious leaders would prefer to just impose Christianity everywhere, kind of like what the Taliban does with Islam in Afghanistan. And for those of us who believe the U.S. Constitution serves as a valid guardrail to protect basic American rights and freedoms, well, we can go to hell. Because as you heard, the pastor puts the Bible above the Constitution. And sadly, he's not alone. A recent Pew poll found that almost half of all Americans think the U.S. should be a Christian nation. This includes 67% of Republicans compared to 29% of Democrats. And out of those who believe the U.S. should be labeled a Christian nation, 54% argue that if there's a clash between biblical scripture and U.S. law, the Bible should come out on top. The irony is that while Christian evangelicals complain about the left somehow imposing abortion rights on America, there's not a peep from many evangelical leaders over GOP politicians engaged in abortion hypocrisy. And for good reason. Many on the religious right see Herschel Walker as a means to an end. They want his votes in the Senate for religious nationalism, and Walker's past is irrelevant. Just like the Constitution will be irrelevant. If these Christian nationalists pile up enough political power, be very, very afraid. Our constitutional democracy is vulnerable.